Hi, okay, this is Curley from Curley's Chicken Ranch. We're going to do something a little bit different today. One of the things I've always considered and I've always been interested is in solar setups for homes. And we moved into this house probably about maybe 2 years ago. We've had some different power outages and things. So you think about trying things to kind of make you more self-sufficient. There's a lot of things, people say, you can go ahead and put solar panels on your home and sell the power back to the company, back to the electric company, and that's good. Of course, they say you can do it possibly free, and it's only going to cost you. They say it's free, but then actually you wind up paying anywhere from $150 to $300 or $400 a month. They say it's free because if you use more power, if you use less power than you produce, you sell it back to the electric company. So it kind of winds up being free, but it's not really free. The only thing with that is, of course, that when the power goes down, you can't use the panels on top of your house to power your home. You would need basically, and they don't necessarily tell you that all the time, you'd need a hybrid system. Hybrid system is basically solar panels that actually has batteries, and the panels don't necessarily power your home, but the batteries that you have charging, that's what powers the circuit in your home. So we'll break that down a little bit later. I've got my own viewpoints about the solar thing, but what I want to show you today is we got our first package here. I've already done a small setup with four 100 watt panels from Renagi, but I'm gonna do something different this time. That was a system, very small system that I used for powering a couple of panels in my RV that I have on Curley's. What we'll put together now is a setup that's going to power a lot of the circuits in our home, and also with the intent in the future of powering even up to a small air conditioning unit. Now the small setup I have on my camper trailer has four 100 watt panels, and it's enough to do a few things, but with only the type of batteries that I have and things, it's kind of limited. It also, with that setup, I have a PWM controller, and they're not as efficient. And we're going to talk about the difference between PWM controllers and MPPT controllers. So this is the unboxing of the EPEver MPPT solar charge controller and the remote meter for the same setup. And I'll be taking you through the install in different videos as far as hooking everything up to the house and making everything work. I said the whole intent is to get to the point to where we can actually run power when the power goes down off the grid. So that's the intent. But I said we're going to talk about everything from new solar panels, used solar panels, cost of things, setting it up, what kind of batteries, why in the world would you want to pay $1,000 a battery for powering a home deal, which you need more than one battery. And that's another thing I'll explain in other videos as far as what kind of batteries, how many batteries, what are you trying to accomplish as far as draws. You're just trying to run some simple lighting or charging system or your TV or microwave, or like I said, even up to an air conditioner. Now you could literally power the whole house, but you'd have to have unbelievable amount of batteries, and it doesn't really make sense because then you'd be looking at $1,000 just for the batteries themselves. So like I said, this is just the first. This is just looking at one item, which is the controller and the remote meter. So in this EPEver charge controller, you get a battery sensor to plug into your controller, and it sits on top of your batteries. And that's making sure that the controller keeps an eye on your batteries, you don't get them overheated, and then try to keep charging, which will basically destroy your batteries. So a lot of new things, If you don't know a lot about solar, we're going to talk very simply about these things. Then we'll get into a little bit more in-depth information in the future. But we're just going to start out like simple English where everybody can understand it. Okay. So in this setup I got, and during this time, I almost do so many things by Amazon just because it's easy. But research, check around, see what the different prices are on different things, and find these different type of units. Do your research. The EPEver unit here, the solar charging unit, what I liked about it, it has very large terminals on the bottom to plug in. A lot of the charging units, or the solar charging units that you get, have very small connections and very cheesy made, to where you strip them off and break them off very easily, and you can use very small wire. And we're going to talk about even different types and size of wire in the future, because depending on the length of run that you've got from your panels to your controller, or from your controller to your batteries, the larger the run, the larger the wire you have to run. So this is a pretty sweet setup, and so this can be controlled with this remote meter, and you can also even control it by Wi-Fi. Although I'm going to try to stay away from Wi-Fi as much as possible, just because if worst case scenario happens and we lose a lot of stuff, power, Wi-Fi, the whole thing, you still want to be able to get your power without being restricted by a Wi-Fi system. Okay. So like I said, we're going to look at I'll take you through other videos as far as showing you different things. So this can be controlled, could be controlled if as long as you do have Wi-Fi. Can be controlled with your phone. It can be controlled by a laptop. It can be controlled by this remote wire or remote programming system. This is a maximum PV input voltage. In other words, your panels on top of your house, they're all rated as far as how much voltage they will to send to your batteries or to the controller. This one has a maximum input voltage of 150 volts, has a short circuit of 50 amps. You can power basically the kind of panels, and I'll take you through the panels we've got, but we can basically power up to around 1,000 to 1,100, 1,040 watts and 24 volt system, 520 watts and 12 volt system. And the way that's figured out is if you can do 1,040 watts, that's basically 10 100 watt panels, or however you configure them. If they're 200 watt panels, then it's 5 of them. You can kind of do the math on that. So this controller itself will accept up to 1,040 watts from your panels. And we're going to talk about this later when I show you the panels we're going to use too. Is like, depending on if you hook up your panels in series, if you hook them up parallel, that's also going to change your not your watts, but it's going to change how many panels you can actually put on your system. So stay tuned. So we're going to be talking about these things. This one will also auto connect 12 or 24 volts as far as what you can have as far as your inverter. That's another thing we're going to talk about. So this is just a broad unboxing of this one unit, and like I said, we're going to break it down as we do the whole house install. We're going to be talking about every little bitty component as we do it, including hooking up to the walls, hooking it up if you're going to hook up direct circuits into your home. What I'm going to do, I'm actually using a switching box with crossovers to where I can actually use power from the pole or from my solar setup. And we're going to make some dedicated circuits to just do feeds for electricity inside the house. So That's all we're going to do today, right now. We'll stop it with that, and I will go ahead and keep you caught up as far as what we're doing. So this is going to be a very simple, very practical, something you can understand. I'm not going to go into a bunch of technical jargon, because if you want that, I can give it to you, but you can get that off the internet just like anybody else can. But if you got some questions, put them below. If you have some comments, put them below also. Hit the subscribe button if you want to follow this build, because it's going to probably be, I don't know how many different videos I'm going to do on this. And we're going to see the good things that happen, and I'll even show you the bad things that happen. So stay tuned. This is Curley with Curley's Chicken Ranch. So we're doing something different. We're going to be doing Suburban solar. Okay? Catch you later.